Okay, thank you very much. I'm Dan Crutcher, and I'm the chair of the board of Louisville Central Community Centers, Inc. And first, let me extend a warm welcome to all our guests on this beautiful and auspicious day. The official opening of LCCC's Family Strengthening Conference Center. I have to say, I feel a special connection to the space that we're celebrating today, because my first experiences with LCCC were in that building, which, as most of you know, was for a long time the headquarters of the organization, as well as the site of all of its programs for adults and after-school kids. And one of those programs was tutoring kids after school, especially those who needed help in reading. And I was part of the Everyone Reads initiative, and so this is where I first came and spent many afternoons to sit and read with the kids at the tables, which was a wonderful experience. But I do recall that we were at tables that were kind of crammed into some very small rooms in a building that, let's just say, was well worn, and had beautiful institutional lime green painted walls that has now been transformed into the beautiful and spacious center that you're going to see today. It's quite a transformation. So that was my introduction to LCCC and to its wonderful and dedicated staff. A few years later, I was pleased to be able to help to play a role in the capital campaign of $3.5 million that we were able to raise to renovate this four-story building over here and to build this beautiful atrium that connects everything. And this has been a long-planned Old Walnut Street project that this is all part of. So that campaign funded the renovation of that, but we were not quite able to raise enough to finish out this part that we're doing. So that took a little bit longer, and we now have done that and built that out, and I want to give special thanks to the city of Louisville and to all of our many donors who have supported us through all of this period. It could not have been done without them, so thank you very much. This center will allow LCCC to continue and enhance its mission of improving the lives of families and children by giving them a place where they, and in fact anyone in the city, can celebrate life's small and large events such as birthdays, weddings, family reunions, as well as provide much needed space in West Louisville for business meetings, conferences, community gatherings of all sorts. But beyond its specific benefits to the organization and the neighborhood, I think it's important to understand that the opening of this center is yet one more marker laid down towards the transformation of Russell into a revitalized, thriving neighborhood connected to downtown and the rest of the city. It is one more sledgehammer blow against that wall of 9th Street that we must, as a city, break down once and for all. Now it's my pleasure to introduce three distinguished speakers who all have played key roles in the development of the Old Walnut Street project and are all instrumental in the larger ongoing project of transforming Russell into a thriving neighborhood of choice. And to keep things moving along, I'm going to introduce all three of them at one time, so I don't have to keep coming up here and gumming up the proceedings and let them speak one after the other. So in keeping with the order of today's program, please welcome to the podium, and I'll announce all three, Mayor Greg Fischer, who will be followed by State Senator Gerald Neal, and then by Metro Council President David Tandy. Mayor Fischer.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is great to be here and see what's going on. And, you know, anytime I walk in here and into the atrium, I mean, it just feels good. And to see the continuing expansion and renovations here is just a real testament to the momentum that's taken place in Russell. And David, you and I have been here. You remember when we were knocking down the wall up there with the sledgehammers? That was good. And that was a couple of years ago. So a lot of momentum in the city. I was hoping Sadiqa Reynolds was going to be here, so I'm sure she's busy doing something else. But her announcement as our incoming president of the Urban League, we were really proud of her at the city. So I know we want to give a big thanks to Ben Richmond for all he's done, but one of the great signs of leadership is being able to, pass the baton to the next person that can help the organization. I have no doubt that Sadiqa can do that. So, well, we hate to see her leave our team. I think collectively for the city, this is a really fantastic thing. So we're excited about that. And I'm also really happy to be here today to join in the ongoing expansion and good news in Russell, as Dan talked about just a moment ago. As you all know, Russell has a long history in our city of a productive, progressive, innovative place, and urban renewal really did not help. I still don't know why they call that urban renewal, but this part of town, especially when we start downtown on Walnut Street and stretch out here, people would come from all over the country to visit and be entertained and socialize in what was known as the Harlem of Louisville, to experience the business sense and entertainment sense from what I heard for the first time the other day. Can someone say that Walnut Street entrepreneur mindset? And I never heard somebody talk about the Walnut Street entrepreneur mindset. And so as we are in the process of recapturing that in our city, I think it really is instructive on us to kind of look historically at what was and then kind of say what happened, and now say, what's going on right now so we can get back to that spot that people came from all over the world. And LCCC obviously is right in the middle of this. So it's all about entrepreneurship and getting things done. Think about what's happening right now near this location in our city. Yesterday I announced a small project, but one that has important significance. It's a $150,000 streetscape improvement project to more attractively and easily connect the western part of the Central Business District with Russell, Portland, and Shippingport, just by enhancing the streetscape from an attractiveness standpoint, from a lighting standpoint. People have to feel kind of welcome and inviting and safe to be moving in any parts of the city, and this is part of that, and this was one of the steps that we identified as a near-term goal in our Vision Louisville plan that we did. Secondly, think about the new businesses that have just been announced in the last 6 months nearby here, from the old 502 Winery, Falls City Brewing Company, Kentucky Peerless Distilling, and the Over the Nine restaurant. So, when you start pulling these things together, you can say something's going on here. We expanded the Louisville Downtown Partnership Business Improvement District westward just last month. We have a food-related business incubator that will be opening in the next several months at Jay's Cafeteria. The Choice Neighborhood Beecher's Terrace Planning Grant of remaking the whole Beecher and Russell neighborhood into a vibrant mixed-income community. The Walmart and YMCA at the 18th and Broadway corridor. And then the food port with its announcement here today on the next steps with it, which has the possibility to transform all the neighborhoods around it into a global destination for the whole cycle of food. And then last, the announcement of the $35 million planned expansion of Waterfront Park moving west as well. So when you start pulling all this together, it's hard for anybody to say there's nothing going on, okay? If you look at them just individually and not collectively, you might think that, but clearly this is the result of a lot of focus on having investment throughout our city, and we're very proud to see all this being focused in West Louisville and Russell in particular. So we know we've got to live in a city where everybody feels they can win and they've got a shot forward, and investment clearly is a big part of that. So when we're putting together our budget, and it's the mayor's office job to put together a budget that then goes to the Metro Council. Our Metro Council President David Tandy is here. We then work it back and forth to come up to a final budget that we then present to our citizens, we're faced with all kinds of choices. Part of the budget are funds we receive from the federal government called community development block grants, and they're basically all this stuff when you hear, well, the mayor gave the money here and the president gave the money here. Let's make no mistake about it. This money is your money, okay? It comes from taxpayers. You all have just elected us to make decisions on where it goes. But in this case, and this investment's a $625,000 project here, $500,000 of that came from community development block grant money through our budget here from our office with the consent of the Metro Council as well. So there's lots of people that want those funds, right, David? Probably 100 times more than what we have available. So we are strategic on where they go. We're strategic with the partners we have. We want people that have proven their ability to execute already, and we try to place them where they can be transformative in terms of the effect that they have in the adjoining neighborhood as well. And that's obviously why this is a smart investment that's taken place here. This facility is projected to support over 100 events during the year, serve over 8,000 people, be individuals, community organizations, families, businesses, weddings. There'll be a lot of joy that'll be spread in this building because of this investment. And I feel very certain that this is not the last investment that you're going to be seeing in the Russell neighborhood in our city. I think we're in the very early stages of what's going to be a renaissance, not just in our whole city, but also what's taking place in near West Louisville here as well. LCCC has laid a path for us to follow over many years. These folks, Sam, look, he's always low key, okay? He's always in the background. This man is not new to the party, okay? He's delivered results in the community for many times. His love of children and helping them realize their potential is second to none in the city. The amount of people that you've helped, Sam, has been phenomenal, and you're just a real proven player for us here in Louisville, and I personally want to say thank you to Sam for all the great work that you've done. Thank you. We started here in 1948, so we've got, 67 years of history behind us now. And I think our original champions from 67 years ago, if they were here today and they walked in and they saw this atrium and they saw the children's programming and they saw this facility, they'd be proud. And then they would challenge us as well, right? They say, let's fill up every one of these spaces. Let's help a bunch of more kids. Let's bring some artists into these spaces. And I know with the team we have, that's what we intend to do. So congratulations to everybody involved here today. Thanks for coming out. And now let's hear a few words from our Metro Council President, David Tandy.
Well, good afternoon to everyone. The mayor, I want to thank the mayor for giving the State of the 4th District address just a few minutes ago, because everything that he mentioned that's happening in Russell and west of 9th Street, all of that's the 4th District. The only thing that he left out was the continuing efforts to grow the African American Heritage Center, Plymouth Community Center. There's some interesting and exciting work that's happening there that we'll be talking about here in the near future. Community Ventures and the 18th and Cedar corridor there. There's going to be new housing that's going to be taking place in that space. And I think what all of that is saying is that, and then also not to mention the Choice Neighborhood planning grant that we have for imagining what will Russell look like, inclusive of Beecher Terrace, and then also the work that LCCC is doing through the grant that it received to plan out further along Muhammad Ali and that corridor, what will the Russell neighborhood look like. All of that, as it relates to projects and the businesses that are being located here, are important pieces to the overall puzzle, but they're not the answers in and of themselves. Absent the people, absent individuals looking to live in this community and to be engaged with not only those residents who are already here, but those future residents who are going to be coming to our community. Those are vital, will be vital components to the transformation of the Russell neighborhood. My wife and I, we live here. We're raising our 3 kids just at 15th and Chestnut. So we are in the analogy of, if you have an SAT question, what is the pig to the ham and egg breakfast? They always say that chickens contribute to the breakfast, but the hogs are committed. Because those of y'all who ain't from the country, y'all will eventually get that. But what I'm saying there is that you have to give something of yourself at times to make something work. And we chose to live, we made the cognizant choice to move into the Russell neighborhood because we were attracted to the history that this neighborhood has, and we were attracted to the possibilities of what lie here. And the untold story is that West Louisville is a diamond in the rough. And more specifically, Russell, and actually, I'm going to admonish myself for doing something that I think too many of us in our community do. We try to lump 7,000 acres of land in West Louisville, and we try to lump them all together instead of talking to them specifically as to what they are, unlike what we would do in the East End. Just like there is Indian Hills, and there is Anchorage, and there is Glenview, and we look at them individually. Similarly, we should look at Russell and Portland and Shawnee and Chickasaw and all the other neighborhoods in their own individual right. But Russell has a tremendous opportunity, and I think this is the pebble in the pond that's going to continue to proliferate that out all across West Louisville. This particular project, we on the council are proud to have supported with $500,000 of community block grant dollars to help try to further stimulate development and growth in this area. We are constantly, this meeting space, once Jay's went away, that was an element that was lacking, a gathering place for us, for all across the community to be able to come and to have our events and do our celebrations and just to come together as a community. And this space was going to be able to provide that for us. In addition to that, it will serve as an incubator for businesses. One of those that will see immediate impact you'll see is Indulge Catering, who is providing some of the refreshments today. They are going to be housed out of here, doing some work out of here, and hopefully that business will grow and they'll become the next Mastersons out of here. But then in addition to that, you have your space when we go over here into the other part of the old Walnut Street project, and there's business space on that bottom floor for business incubators. We recently talked about, I was talking at, it was actually the Urban League's education summit. And they were honoring a group of kids who were over here at Beecher Terrace who go to the beach, and they were doing the Code Louisville. And there they were, and that's where you learn how to make programs and computer apps and things of that nature. And I said to them then, and I would say to anybody else here in West Louisville, that they are the next Steve Jobs, and we're looking at them. And that's the mindset that we have to have when we look at our young people, or for that matter, when we even look in the mirror at ourselves. Why can't we be those entrepreneurs who create jobs for ourselves? Papa may have and Mama may have, but God bless the child that's got its own. And I think that's the mindset that we have to have here in West Louisville. And so with that being said, we look forward to, we celebrate what we have here today, but we also are looking forward to the possibilities going forward. I know I would be remiss because Sam, if Sam don't say it, I'll go ahead and say it. We've got more work to do with the theater over here. That's the next phase of it. We need to have more Ed Hamiltons doing the visual arts. We need more performers that come out of this neighborhood, and this can be the place that can serve as a catalyst for that. So we need our own version of a Jennifer Lawrence so we can celebrate them as well coming out of right here in Louisville, Kentucky. And so with that being said, we want to thank all the work that that Sam does, the board of directors here for LCCC, and for all of you who have participated in helping to further this project along. And we on the Metro Council continue to look forward to working with you and being committed to making sure that we see this project reach its full potential. And with that being said, I will now turn the podium over to our illustrious leader in the Kentucky State Senate, none other than Senator Gerald Neal. Senator Neal.
I trained him well, huh? No. First of all, let me apologize. I was in Frankfurt and got held up in a meeting and just couldn't get here in the order that I was supposed to speak. But I'm delighted to be here, and I'm always delighted to be here in this part of my district, because I'm always, every time I walk in here, I'm seeing the progress that's being made here. And it's extraordinary. And anybody who's followed this would actually be totally pleased at what they're seeing and following how it's going. I just want to point out that, first of all, for the city to step up financially with respect to that, I think says a lot for our leadership as it relates to what they see as important in our community. But I got to say some special kudos to the visionaries, and I got to call them visionaries of LCCC that have not only the vision but the backbone to make it happen, to push things through, to stand strong, and to make sure that that vision becomes a reality. And I don't know about you, but I get excited when I think about it, because if you look at this facility and now this new addition and what it means, it's another part, it's another piece of that fabric that's going to enable the community to propel forward and improve in so many ways, not only just educationally as they do now, not only economically as they educate and promote those particular aspects of it, not only because of their commitment to overcome the maladies of poverty and that sort of thing, but the fact that they just steadfastly, step by step, are moving toward that vision and making it a reality. So even the fact that the people here are visited here tells me exactly that you get it. So if you join me in my excitement, and if you understand what this means, and I know you do, that reaching down from 6th Street, going all the way down Walnut Street, and seeing that revitalization and seeing that materializing and seeing that become part of this city again in such a vibrant way, see it integrated back into the growth and development of our city is just a fantastic thing to observe. So I'm delighted to be here. I appreciate the leadership of Sam Watkins. He tries to be shy on me, but I got to call his name out. Sam Watkins and Kevin Fields and the rest of the team here, I congratulate you and look forward to even more progress as we go forward. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator Neal, and thank you, Mayor Fischer and President Tandy, for your wonderful, warm, and gracious remarks. We recognize the burden of responsibility that we have as so-called leaders or advocates for not only change, but also advocates for progress and advocates for aspirational building and aspirations for wealth building and aspirations for a strong, vibrant community that supports its families and children. And I hope and appreciate the fact that you all are here, and thank you for joining us on this special occasion. It's just not about a building. In fact, our motto in-house is that the building is only a means by which you accomplish something very special for people. And so as we have taken this journey and moved the ball along the way, I think I want to highlight the board's leadership, LCCC's board's leadership in making clear in a very pronounced way that this development will always belong to the people. And to advance that thinking, we're talking about an organization, God bless this organization, that has chosen a longer journey of trying to raise the capital that would not subordinate this property to anyone. And so this actually is a debt-free property and the board of directors under Dan Crutcher and all the other previous board members, esteemed members I see here today who are former board members, made clear to both me and the staff and this entire community that we would not burden this property with the ohs and ahs of the economy and all the other issues that face us as we try to grow and become prosperous. We've served this community now for 67 years, and we've learned a few things. We've had to be slapped a couple of times, but we've come full circle and have learned a few things. We know that children in America are living in poverty because their parents are in poverty. It's an economic measurement. It's not a social measurement. It's an economic measurement. We know that you cannot meet the systemic needs of children without addressing the needs of parents. We call them family leaders. We know that we cannot have strong neighborhoods without having strong families. We also know that significant investment of capital and other resources are needed to support strong families, particularly in fragile neighborhoods like Russell and the surrounding area. And literally for us, we consider the West Louisville as being the entire fragile community west of downtown. And so this is why LCC has chosen to lead by example as best we can. We're a very small organization in trying to increase the community's investment in Russell as evidenced by this project as example. But there are many other evidences of efforts that has been proven fruitful. The housing development that you see just west of us, starting at 15th Street to 18th Street, is our housing development area. And we're proud of that mixed income housing development. We was one of the first who took risk and challenged our community's standards and expectations about housing in Russell. And so we were able to get a mix of housing, mix of income. So we have homes that we built back some 12, 15 years ago that we have mortgages for $70,000 all the way up to $378,000, all in the same neighborhood living together. We know there are examples of all the other development activity that the mayor so thoughtfully and aggressively explained that is not only here but coming, and we echo and support and express all the kind of strategy needs that are required to make all of these projects successful. We are engaged and partnering and believe in a new vision for Russell. We also have other examples that are important to us, but none no more than this conference center. This center, for a traditional settlement house, is who Louisville Central Community Center really is, has always been about where people gather together. And that gathering together requires a certain kind of space and a certain kind of environment, a certain kind of philosophy that drives people to have fun, to meet and greet, to share and transfer knowledge, to celebrate family accomplishments and achievements, to engage in conversation and debates about the future of our great city, and to lead by example. And so we're here to challenge all of us, no matter where you sit, no matter where you engage, is understand the burden that we all have to making a great city. Mayor Fischer has helped transform, I think, our thinking about our city. He certainly has for me, and that I'm burdened by his leadership that calls for action. And we thank you for that challenge, Mr. Mayor. So this is why I'm excited about sharing this day with you. Now, I want to talk about an inaugural event, but before I do, I want to ask Carolyn to come up because she, on behalf of our outstanding congressman, has a presentation made, and I'm looking for it. You got it? Okay. Carolyn, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I do want to also acknowledge a couple other officials I saw in the room, Vice Chairwoman Porter, Superintendent Hargins, and my colleague in the Senate, Whitney Meadows. We are stewards on the federal side for these dollars, Mayor Fischer, as you mentioned. And all we're responsible for is making sure the dollars get to where they need to go. You have to be the one to decide where they go from there. But these are community federal block grant dollars are responsible for this development, and unfortunately our Congressman John Yarmouth could not be here today, but wanted to be here in spirit. So on his behalf, I do have a certificate that I'd like to present to President Watkins. It reads, the Honorable John Yarmouth, 3rd Congressional District, Kentucky, Certificate of Special Recognition presented to Louisville Central Community Centers, Inc., in recognition and celebration of the grand opening of its Old Walnut Street Conference Center. Congratulations, signed this day, John A. Yarmouth.
Thank you, Carolyn. And now for the fun. This gentleman and I go way back. He is an investor in this project. Money. He's invested his passion for this project. He has invested his energy in this project. Ed Hamilton is not only a dear friend of this organization, but an esteemed, acclaimed national sculptor who, when I travel, I highlight the Churchill Downs and Kentucky Derby, of course, and then we turn to other kinds of highly recognized activities and people in Louisville, and Ed Hamilton is renowned. He has made a national impact, and we're delighted to have Ed join with us on this special day to present and make a special announcement about a commitment he's made to helping us continue to march down this wonderful golden road about transforming Russell. Ed has led in so many ways in our community. He has been really nurturing about the history of Old Walnut Street. He lived on Walnut Street, 6th Street, for a number of years with his family. And so there's no one closer to this project and to this vision that we have that's represented by the murals on the wall and the historical march to opportunities for all residents in Louisville by these pictures behind me. So I'd like to welcome this time Ed Hamilton. Thank you, Ed, very much.
Good afternoon. Well, I bleed Walnut Street. I bleed Louisville Central area. I bleed for this city. I love this city. It's been good to me. It's been good to my family. And I'm really proud of what we're doing in this facilities with so many things that can go on, but yet to have some art happening. See, back when I grew up on Walnut Street, who knew what you would do as you grow up? And all the things that I saw, all the excitement that was going on as I was growing up. If you look at that mural over there, there's a building on that corner. And I lived on the 3rd floor of that building. And so I've seen it all from east to west. And I'm hoping that you're going to see some great art in this room back when we unveil these wonderful artists back here. When Sam called me, we were in Mexico, and he said, "Man, you got to be involved in this." I said, "Well, what are we doing, babe?" He said, I got something going on for you." I said, "Okay, well, just put me down, okay?" So I got to thinking, if you don't know what you're involved in, why did you make this commitment? But that's okay, because when we hit that door, when we got here and went back there and previewed what's going on back there, you're in for a treat. There's some fine talent in this town. And I am very proud to be a part of that talent. But can I take you back just a little bit? Because I think a lot of folks don't realize that I grew up on Walnut Street. But I've got a book that I wrote and there's a chapter on Walnut Street. And if you would indulge me, I believe that would give you a sense of what's in my blood and why I care for this community and why I care that if you guys had been around before urban removal, we could have stopped it. We could have done something. But that's okay. Sometimes you can't go back. You got to move forward. But growing up on Walnut Street, on the banks of the Ohio River, lies a town called Louisville, the place that I call home, the only home I have known. Louisville, like most other cities, was racially segregated during the 50s and 60s. But my part of the world began on Walnut Street at 6th Street, a magical thoroughfare and place for me. My father, mother, and I lived in a 3-story apartment building at the corner of 7th and Walnut. I still think of old Walnut Street, now Muhammad Ali Boulevard, as it stretched from 6th all the way down to 28th, 30th. It was a place that I will always have fond memories of. This was the heart of the Negro community in Louisville during the period of Jim Crow in Kentucky. In its heyday during the 30s, 40s, and 50s, my street was the mecca of cultural life for Louisville's African Americans. The block had a personality. It was warm and alive. It could be hypnotic and yet become robust and boisterous. In between time, it could become quiet, sleeping off the pleasures of the week to recharge itself and getting ready for the next new day. This was my street, and I owned every crack and every weed in that concrete sidewalks. And I left memories that mark my place in history on these sidewalks. I have left written messages, and I carry memories of flesh left behind from scraped knees and elbows and forehead bruises as a result of my favorite pastime, roller skating. And so I come to you today humbly saying that this is going to be a wonderful tribute for this community. We're going to fill this place up with art. I'm so glad that my piece will be out front. Sam, you know that's going out front, don't you? And I've got a room someplace that I know will be my future studio space. Yeah, you got plenty of space in here. So as we unveil and we walk through those doors, it seems like you're walking right back down through the 6th Street corridor. But once you get through those doors, you will see the future. I appreciate being here. I appreciate you, Sam. I appreciate the mayor, our senator, our councilman, and his lovely wife, and all the board who is so responsible for this edifice to come about. Thank God and keep Walnut Street alive.
This has been a Metro TV production, a public service of Louisville Metro government.